me.
Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. Okay, it has been a little while, and I know I said in the beginning of the year I was gonna be more consistent. Maybe cue the clip, don't cue the clip, hopefully. But I have to be honest, I've had a lot going on, and I've been having more responsibilities in church, which I'm really happy about. So that is a part of my absence. It's not an excuse, but I am learning how to balance everything. And yeah, what better way to learn how to balance than practicing new routines, right? So that's what I'm doing. And today we are going to talk about something I've wanted to talk about for a while, which is boy moms. We've been talking about pick me's. I made a video about pick me's a while back, and I feel like a boy mom is a type of pick me, so we're gonna get into that today. Now, before we get started, we do have our verse of the day, which is something we do here in this channel. Our verse of the day is Proverbs 23, verse 7. For as he thinks in his heart, for he is. All right, so before I even get to talk about me, let's just get in this video. So, we're going to talk about toxic boy moms. Now, if you live in the world, you've probably heard this term before, toxic boy mom. It's typically a term used to describe like a mom who might be too endearing or too obsessed with her son or has an inappropriate relationship with her son. And toxic boy moms are not like a rare phenomenon phenomena phenomena, whatever the word is. They're not rare, it's actually very common, and not even just in American society, but in Caribbean culture, in Middle Eastern culture, especially I would say in cultures of people of color. Toxic boy moms are really common, but it also happens in like Western cultures as well. So it's something we see all around the world. Doesn't matter what language you speak or where you're from, they exist, right? And I feel like a toxic boy mom is a type of pick me because there's a different way in which they are formed. Now, before I get into how the boy mom, comes into creation, I do want to just show you guys the clip that inspired this video and that had me thinking like, wait, I need to talk about this because there's so many layers to the pick me that I am thinking about making this a series, and the boy mom's going to be our first layer. But yeah, here is the video that kind of blew my mind and inspired this video. Okay, so I wanted to make a voiceover instead of leaving this part silent, but in the parody video that I saw originally, it's just a comedian kind of reenacting like a crazy mom kissing on her son before he gets married. And when I saw this parody, people were like, OMG, tag the original, which blew my mind that there was an original, and the original was a carousel. So in the first carousel, the bride says, I hate my mother-in-law, and then it swipes like, I don't hate her, but the way she told everyone she didn't want to be at my wedding. I don't hate her, but the way she kissed her son when he went to kiss her cheek will forever be on my mind. I don't hate her, but I don't forget the things she said about me. So yeah, this is the original video. You could pause to read. Okay, so in that clip, you have a woman who's literally getting married, and she shows multiple clips where it's like, I don't dislike my mother-in-law, but she did this on my wedding day. She did XYZ on my wedding day. She did XYZ on my wedding day, which, praying to God, I love my mother-in-law. I know she's not my mother-in-law yet, but when my wedding comes, I know she not gonna be like that, okay? But this mother-in-law, while walking her son down the aisle, which isn't really common for a mother to walk a son down the aisle, but while she's doing that, she, kisses him on the lips in front of everybody. Like, and it wasn't even casual. It wasn't even like, oh my gosh, we accidentally kissed. It looks like they're full blown making out because the photographer was able to get a literal picture of that moment of them kissing. Like, and I'm not going to comment on the son because, maybe it was an accident, whatever, but, it starts with the mom, right? So that's going to bring us to our first point. The boy mom is born. Now, I feel like the boy mom is born out of three different things or all three. She could be a woman who struggles with internal misogyny. She can be a woman who struggles with insecurity, or she could be a woman who struggles with loneliness, or it could be all three. It's very possible to have the trifecta. So it could be one of the above or all of the above. And because of this, with her being a misogyny, like if that's the reason why she's a boy mom, she has this mindset of men kind of being the superior gender, and men have being like just the superior, men are better. And since she has this mindset, when she gives birth to a son, it's very easy for her to lift her son up and kind of make him holier than thou because she already sees men in this way. Now, let's say she may not be an internal misogynist. She might just be insecure. Now, the insecure boy mom is someone who maybe experienced cheating in a adult relationship, in a romantic relationship. She may be someone who experienced some kind of betrayal in a romantic relationship. She could have even been betrayed by like the father of the son, and because of this insecurity she has with the son's father, she's going to kind of reach out and latch onto her son almost as a replacement for that relationship with the father, or for that relationship with whoever may have caused this insecurity to form. If the insecurity came from a relationship, of course there could be situations where the insecurity could be rooted from childhood, and that's like a whole different situation. But that's two. It could be insecurity. Now, the third reason, or the trifecta, is loneliness. So this is, and not to say single moms are lonely, but this could be like the single boy mom who either, also not even just single, this could be the single boy mom, but it could also be a married boy mom who either does not have a romantic partner or has a absent relationship with their romantic partner. So this could be a mother who's in a married relationship with her husband, but her husband is emotionally unavailable and he's not playing an active role in the relationship. Or it could be a woman who is single and does not have romantic prospects. Either or, because of the lack of relationship with a male in her life, she will almost inadvertently put those expectations onto her son and kind of blend the line between, what is a son and what is a partner. Which brings us into part two, or point two, of a boy mom. When you're a boy mom, it typically happens with the mom. It doesn't start with the son. So if you're dealing with a mama's boy, sorry for the mama's boy. Like, obviously they have a choice, but don't blame the mama's boy, because at the end of the day, it started with his mom. And what happens is boundaries begin to fall apart. With the boy mom, she's going to blend lines between what's okay and what's not okay. She's gonna talk about inappropriate topics with her son. Like, you ever seen like those videos, or those moms who's like, oh yeah, like I go to Victoria's Secret with my son and he helps me pick my lingerie. Or maybe she'll be getting ready for a date or something like that, wearing some like really, like, wearing a really beautiful outfit, whatever the case may be. But she might go to her son like, hey, do you think this makes my butt look good enough, or should I wear something with more cleavage? Or she might ask her son questions that may seem innocent. To some people, they might be like, hey, that's innocent. Like, it's not weird to ask your kids if you look good in a dress, or it's not weird to go lingerie shopping with your kids. Me personally, if I had a son, I wouldn't need to do that with my son. I'd probably do it with my husband. And if I don't have a husband, I'd do it with my friends. Like, I wouldn't
Be nice.
I feel like that's a weird boundary to cross. I feel like when it comes to things that are a little bit more sexual, or even just sexual in nature, even if it's not explicitly sexual, like lingerie shopping is sexual in nature. It's not explicitly sexual. It's not like he's gonna see naked woman at Victoria's Secret, but it is implicitly sexual, because that's lingerie and things like that. That's things that you're wearing, in certain situations. So I feel like the son should not have to be a part of situations like that. So situations that are implicitly sexual, she's going to involve her son in, whether that's asking his opinion about what she should be doing, whether that's, involving him in her own personal relationships, whether she's dating or she's married. She may be asking the son, so and so did this, how should I do with this, da, 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 da. And he'll also become like an emotional crutch for her, and she'll kind of blend the line between son and parent. And in two scenarios, you will see that the son, can become parentified, and in a way begins to feel responsible for his mother's feelings. He may feel responsible for his mother's happiness. He may feel responsible for his mother feeling loved. And it's not to say that your kid should not want you to be happy. Like, I want my parents to be happy, but there's a difference between wanting your parent to be happy versus feeling like it's my job to make sure my mom's happy, and it's my job to make sure my dad's happy. Like, that's not a child's job, and that's when you parentify a child. And I'm speaking as a parentified child myself, okay? So the boy mom may parentify her child and her son because she's gonna make him feel like it's his responsibility to make sure she's happy. And she's also gonna blend the line between what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. And that could look different in many ways. There was a clip that went viral on TikTok a while ago. If I could find it, I'll put it in the video, but I'm just not thinking of it. Where there was a boy mom, she had like 5 sons or something like that, and the caption was something along the lines of, oh, they learn it from their dad, or something like that. And she's in the kitchen cooking, and each of her sons pass by and they like smack her on the butt while she's cooking, and you know what I mean? Like it's, I guess it's meant to be funny, but to me personally, I wouldn't record my son slapping me on the butt, but first of all, my sons would not be slapping me on the butt. Like, just because you see your dad slap me on the butt does not mean you're gonna be slapping me on the butt, because your dad is my romantic partner. Your dad is the person that, you know, I love in a romantic way, whereas I love you in a motherly way. And this is just another example of the boundaries and the lines being blurred, because your son should not be smacking your butt when you're cooking. He should not be smacking your butt every time he passes by you, because oh, daddy smacks mommy's butt every time he passes by mommy, so I have to do it too because I'm a mama's boy. Like, no, that's weird, right? So it's things like that where the boundaries between mother and son become blurred, and it looks a little bit like something else. Like, you ever see those kind of mother and son relationships where maybe the mother had the son when she was very young, and it's very easy for people to mistake them for like a couple, or even the mom hopes that people mistake them for a couple because of the fact that she's young. It gives kind of that, like, it's just, the line is blurred and it shouldn't be blurred. No, weird. And this brings me to my third point, which is the build a man. Like, a boy mom, it's like she's building a man. And I say this because some boy moms, not all of them, she will teach her son to be how she wants to be treated. So she's going to teach her son how to be like almost like her perfect boyfriend. She's going to teach him about her love languages. Mom's love language is words of affirmation. She's going to be very sure to teach her son how to encourage her and how to speak to her. And then this could also feed into the pattern of the son feeling responsible to keep his mom happy. What does that look like when the son begins getting older, and maybe he has football practice, or maybe he starts dating? God forbid he starts dating, he's gonna have to start speaking these words of affirmation to his mom. Oh, mom, don't worry. Like, she's just a girl from school. No one could ever replace you. You're the best mom ever. You're the number one woman in my life. And she will teach her son to kind of speak to her and treat her in the ways that she would want to be treated by a romantic partner, which is, the lines are being blurred, one, but it's almost like she's trying to build her son up into the man she wishes she had, right? And even another example of this, which some people are going to disagree with me. And to be clear, if you are a mother watching this and you are a mother to a boy, I'm not saying every single mother who has a son is like this. I'm just saying there are mothers out there who have unhealthy relationships and unhealthy bonds with their sons. And it's not to say this is the worst thing in the world, but it is to say there is something that needs to be identified, and there's something that needs to be fixed and possibly healed on the mother's side and even for the son, to ensure they can have a healthy, regular, functioning relationship. Now, if you listen into this video and you feel offended, what they say, a hit dog holler? A hit dog might be hollering right now. That got nothing to do with me. I'm just saying. But to get back to my point about the building a man, the other example of that is you'll often see some moms when they have young sons, and I mean like young sons, like toddlers, like 2, 3 years old, they will be dressing their sons like they're YNs. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. But they'll be dressing their son like they're like 20-year-old men, like, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be a 2-year-old baby with like a fade and like jewelry on and chains, and he'll have, I don't know, like, it would just be a baby drip down looking like, your everyday 23-year-old, or you know what I mean? Like, they will kind of dress their son up in a way that I feel isn't age appropriate. And to be clear, I'm talking about sons right now, but I see people do this with their daughters as well, and I don't agree with it when it comes to little girls either. But I feel like when it comes to children, I think it's a bit strange when you dress children up in ways that older adults dress. When you put chains on them and this and that, and you're doing their hair, and they're getting fades, which that baby 2 years old, let his hair grow out. He do not need a fade. I promise you, he do not need a fade. Like, they're doing all this stuff to almost make the kid look a little more grown up. And I just feel like it's another example of like, oh, like, mom likes tall men who have fades and chains, and who wear I don't know, Prada, I don't know brands these days, but like, and who wears Gucci, and who wears uh all these different brands, whatever the case may be, and Nike tech sets, and mom likes that, so now her little son's gonna dress just like that too because she thinks that's so attractive. And then, there's also the moms who'll be like, oh yeah, my little man is so handsome. My little man is the love of my life. And one of my two favorite quotes I've heard like moms say, and they're not saying it to be funny, or one of my favorite quotes I've heard a mom say, and it's not to be funny, but they'll be like, oh, when God gives you a son, he knew you needed to be loved, or he knew you needed to feel true love. And it's like, girl, what? Girl, what? Or when God gave you a son, he knew that you needed true love to heal you. Girl, what? Your child is not your healer. If you need to be healed, me personally, I would say you're probably not ready for a baby. But some people are gonna say that's elitist or that's not fair. But I personally believe if you have so much trauma and hurt and XYZ, and you're convinced in the head that your son is gonna be able to teach you what true love is, you need to go to therapy. Point blank, you need therapy. Because as a mother, I'm not going to put my hurt, my trauma, my experiences in the hands of my son and expect him to act as healing for me. Now, is that not to say that you don't get unconditional love from your children? No, you do experience unconditional love from your children, but you should not hope to experience unconditional love from your children with the mindset of, oh yeah, I'm like, my baby loves me unconditionally, like this is true love, he's healing me from this pain that I experienced in XYZ. Because if you have pain and hurt that you like associate love with, it's very easy that you might inadvertently pour that into your child. And like I said, with the toxic boy mom, one of the roots of it could be insecurity or it could be heartbreak. So if mom has that pain, that could be the start of the weird relationship and the lines being blurred in XYZ. And yes, your son is going to love you, but the way you love your son does not know if that's appropriate or healthy when they're 3, 4, 5 years old. Kids don't know what's the healthiest way to be loved. I didn't know what was a healthy way to be loved as a child. I had to grow up and go through therapy and learn, okay, this was okay and this was not okay. So I feel like people often talk about the fact that kids give you unconditional love, which is true, but kids do not know what form of love is healthy. They love you how you teach them to be loved, and they love how they are taught to be loved. So if there are certain things you're doing as a parent to show love to your kids that are not appropriate, you're blurring the lines, you're blurring the boundaries. But yeah, it really be giving born to be your lover, cursed to be your mother. Like it really be giving y'all wish you were your son's boyfriend, but oh man, I'm his mom. And one of the reasons to be given that is because, God forbid, the son starts dating. So this is point number 4, the implanting of misogyny. So even if the mother may not be a internal misogynist, because of how she views her son, she's going to teach her son to view women how she views women, or she's just going to teach her son to view women as less than. Son, you are a king. There's no girl in this world that will be good enough for you. Oh my gosh, she's not pretty enough, or she's not going to cook and clean for you the way I cook and clean for you, son. Son, you are smart and excellent and you're a go-getter. There's no woman out here that deserves you. Any woman who's interested in you, she only wants you for your money. I'm thinking of a certain celebrity who's facing charges right now with a certain type of mom. I'm not saying no names, but that was literally the mindset of his mom, that these women are only doing this because they want money from you, or they're only chasing you because they want money from you. You know what I mean? And she would teach her son to view women as objects, but to put her on a pedestal, which that can create a conundrum for the son because his mom is still a woman. So depending on how hardcore the son goes down the internal misogyny, and how much that's rooted into him, like in his character and personality, in some ways he can begin to resent his mother while still loving his mother. He will resent her for pulling him in close. He will resent her for loving him and suffocating him, but he will also love her and put her on this pedestal because that's my mommy, and mommy did everything for me, and mommy was there for me when this happened, and mommy supports me no matter what, and mommy's never going to turn her back on me, and mommy's never going to believe the allegations. And you know what I mean? Like, he will have this tug and pull relationship with his mother because of the ideals she implants in him about women, teaching him to not respect women, which will inadvertently cause this struggle in him where he does not know if he can respect her or love her. And so it will kind of be both, where he does not respect her but he does love her, and which doesn't work. And he will also take this into his relationships. And so we will see that if her son accepts this ideology and he goes on into relationships and he does get married in XYZ and he has these problems, what happens when he has problems in his relationships? His mother will co-sign him. So if you're dating a mama's boy and that mama boy start beating you, or that mama boy stop paying the bills, or that mama boy starts cussing you out, and you go to his mother-in-law like, hey, you need to talk to your son, she gonna be like, girl, what did you do for him to hit you? Why'd you make him mad? Well, maybe you should do this. Like, she's not gonna hear you out. She's gonna put the blame on you as a woman, because not only is that what she's taught her son to do, but it's what she's conditioned her own mind to do when her son is involved. Let it be any other man, she probably might not care unless she is an internal misogynist. But when it comes to her son, her son is the one above all. Like, he's the highest of the highest. He can do no wrong. So that is one big error and one big concern as the boy mom, continues raising her son, and as the son gets older. This is like one of the things that can happen, right? And that brings us to our last point of the toxic boy mom and the son, is there can be acceptance or there could be divergence. And what I mean by that is the son will either accept this relationship that he has with his mother. He will accept the blurred boundaries. He will accept the obsession of his like personal life. He will accept the invasion of his privacy. He will accept all these different concepts and things that happen in a boy mom relationship. And when he gets married, he's still going to put his mother first. He's still going to put her above anybody else he gets involved with. He's just going to be a mama's boy for probably the rest of his life. That's what happens with acceptance. Now, in divergence, like I was saying earlier, what we will see is as the boy mom gets older, or not the boy mom, as the boy gets older, he will, begin to acknowledge, hey, wait, it's kind of weird that after my football game, my mom jumps up on top of me and I spin her around and this and that. There's nobody else on the football field who's doing that right now but me and my mom. That might be a little weird. And he's gonna start acknowledging the weird things of their relationship. Hey, it's kind of weird that my mom takes me to Victoria's Secret with her. It's kind of weird that my mom gets jealous anytime I talk about my high school girlfriend, or she jokes that nobody will ever replace her. That's a bit strange. My friends' moms don't do that. And as he continues to be exposed to possibly other relationships, other mom-son relationships, and he sees the discrepancies between his relationship with his mother, he will begin to divert from his mother. He will begin to grow to either resent his mother or grow to push away from her and push back and begin planting boundaries of his own. So this may look like if he lives at home with the mother, making really clear boundaries with her that were never set or made for him as a child with his mother's relationship. And obviously the mom, this will be hard for her. It's going to be hard. It might cause her to be upset or also feel a resentment towards her son because, oh, I raised you, I've taken care of you all these years, and this is how you treat me now. Like, you don't care about me, you don't love me. And that is just another form of her emotional manipulation towards the son, right? So I feel like in most scenarios, I would probably say 6 times out of 10, the mama's boy, he accepts the relationship. He grows into a man who has this strange relationship with his mom, and he does eventually get married and this, that. And why do I say 6 out of 10? It's because if you ask almost any woman on the street, hey, have you ever dated a mama's boy before? Have you ever, like, any grown woman on the street? I want to say at least 6 out of 10 of them will be like, oh yeah, I've had an experience with a mama's boy. I've had an experience with a mama's boy. And let me tell y'all, when that man cheated on me and I told his mama, she was like, well, what were you not doing, to keep him happy? Like, what was going on with you? Why didn't you fulfill him? You know what I mean? Like, things like that. And granted, that was before I got saved, y'all. I don't try to fulfill no man anymore. I'm waiting for my husband. But you know what I mean? Like, it's things like that where you do this and he accepts it. And so I feel like that's like a 6 out of 10. Now, for the divergers, for the sons that say, you know what, I'm not putting up with this. I'm separating from my mom in this weird relationship. Like, I still love her, but I'm setting boundary 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm setting all these boundaries, and I want to have a normal, functioning, healthy relationship. I say that's a 4 out of 10 because I think it's really hard for a son and a child in general. I think it's really hard for a child to diverge from the relationship standards that were set and put upon them by their parents. And this is what I was kind of talking about earlier. When you teach your kids how to love you and when you teach your kids how to behave around you, it's very hard for children to get out of that. And that's why there's so many adults walking around today. We have to get therapy. We have to get counseling. We have to unlearn the traumas and unlearn what we learned as children in terms of love and in terms of relationships and in terms of forgiveness and all these things. So diverging from the relationships you grew up in and diverging from what you were taught as a child is not easy, but it is possible. So I'm praying for all the boys out there who have toxic boy moms. I'm praying for all the boys who are right now trying to diverge and get out of it. If you're watching this video and you have a story of knowing a toxic boy mom or maybe a mama's boy, I'd love to hear your situation down in the comments below. I know it's been a while since I've been back, guys, and I'm not gonna promise that I'm gonna be back next week or in 2 weeks. um but I am gonna promise that every time I come back, I'm gonna do my best to upload a video that I'm passionate about and talk about something that I care about, and just do my best to give you guys some quality content, because that is the minimum that I can promise you guys. So until next time, y'all, thank you for sticking in the video this long. If you watch this far, please leave a like, comment, and possibly subscribe if you're feeling nice to your girl. And I will see you next time. Bye, babies.